In a faraway kingdom lived Princess Lavanya. Her mesmerizing beauty was matched only by her enchanting smile, but a secret mystery set her apart from everyone else. When the princess fell asleep at night, her dreams would manifest in the real world. Sometimes vibrant butterflies painted the skies, sometimes a sparkling river would emerge around the palace, and at times fierce storms would unsettle the land. The king and queen were deeply worried. The kingdom's people were both amazed by this bizarre magic and fearful of it. Thus, the king declared, "Whoever can unravel the mystery of the princess's sleep shall marry her." Many princes arrived. Some suggested preventing the princess from sleeping would solve the issue, while others chanted magical spells. But nothing worked. Then came a humble young man named Adifir. He was neither a prince nor a warrior, but a curious wanderer. Adifir decided to keep watch over the palace during the princess's sleep. One night, he noticed an ancient ring shimmering beneath the princess's pillow. The ring was the curse of a wicked sorcerer. As Adifir lifted the ring, the princess awoke with a start, and the dream realm shattered. Out from the ring emerged a malevolent sorceress who said, "I cast this curse on the princess's lineage 100 years ago. Her dream world is my playground. Anyone who breaks this mystery must battle me." Adifir courageously replied, "I stand by the princess." A fierce battle ensued. Lightning struck the ground, and the sky darkened. But with knowledge and bravery, Adifir broke the enchantment of the ring. Freed from the curse, the princess returned to her normal life. She told the king, "The one who has freed me is my worthy companion." The king agreed. The princess and Adifir were married with great celebration. The people of the kingdom never again woke to fears from dreams, for the dream realm and the real world were separated forevermore. In a faraway village, there lived a young boy named Rashid, who struggled through life with his widowed mother. They were quite poor, but Rashid had a priceless gem: his knowledge, intelligence, and courage. Rashid was a brilliant student from a young age. The local mosque's imam always encouraged him, saying, "Child, true strength lies in knowledge and good character. With these, you can go far in life." One day, news spread that the king of the capital announced a contest for the princess's marriage. The young man who could answer all the questions correctly would win her hand. Villagers teased, "Rashid, you're a poor boy. Will the king accept someone like you as his son-in-law?" But his mother said, "Son, dignity isn't in wealth but in talent and honesty. Give it your best shot." Rashid traveled to the capital and participated in the contest. In the grand court, the king himself began asking questions. "What is the most valuable thing in the world?" Bowing his head, Rashid replied, "Your Majesty, the most valuable thing is time. Once lost, it can never be recovered." "What is man's greatest strength?" Rashid answered, "A man's greatest strength is his knowledge. With knowledge, the world can be conquered, and ignorance only leads to destruction." "What is the most beautiful thing in the world?" Rashid confidently replied, "Truth. For without truth, no beauty can endure." The king and his courtiers were amazed. They had never heard such wise answers before. The princess, listening from behind a curtain, smiled and said, "Such a wise, honest, and brave young man is who I want as my life partner." In the end, Rashid married the princess. Yet he never forgot his mother. He dedicated half of the palace to her and held her hand, saying, "All that I am today is because of your prayers and sacrifices." The king joyfully declared, "This young man is not just my son-in-law but a model for the entire country. True power lies not in wealth but in knowledge, honesty, and valuing time. A mother's blessings and prayers are a child's greatest asset." Once upon a time, Cinderella lived under the constant torment of her wicked stepmother. Her stepmother treated her as a servant, burdened with endless household chores. Despite hardships, Cinderella remained humble and dreamed beneath the starry night sky. News arrived. The prince's grand ball sought to find his future bride. Stepsisters rejoiced and busied themselves with their elaborate preparations. Cinderella longed to attend, but was harshly forbidden by her stepmother. Left alone and heartbroken, Cinderella cried silently in the dim room. Suddenly, a magical fairy appeared, offering Cinderella an incredible opportunity. "You shall go to the ball, but remember, magic lasts until midnight," warned the fairy. With quick swirls, rags transformed into a stunning gown and glass slippers. A pumpkin turned into a golden carriage, and mice into valiant horses. Arriving at the palace, Cinderella mesmerized everyone, including the enchanted prince. They danced through the night, whispering stories and sharing fleeting smiles. As the clock struck midnight, Cinderella fled, leaving a glass slipper behind. The prince embarked on a quest, proclaiming, "She whose foot fits shall be my queen." Cinderella's stepsisters tried in vain. Not one foot matched the slipper's grace. Many years ago, in a distant kingdom, a princess was born, Abida, the result of her king and queen's prolonged prayers. The people rejoiced wholeheartedly. On the day of her birth celebration, the palace resonated with colorful flags, dazzling lights, and the sound of dance and music. 12 fairies were invited to the palace that day, each bestowing a blessing upon the princess. One granted her beauty, another wisdom, and yet another, a melodious voice. Suddenly, the sky turned black. A thunderous clap stopped everyone in their tracks. The ominous fairy Pichichini entered. She declared in a trembling voice, "You didn't invite me. Now hear my curse. When the princess reaches 16, she will prick her finger on the spindle of a spinning wheel and fall asleep into a deep slumber from which she shall never awaken." Everyone froze in fear. Then, a gentle-hearted, kind fairy whispered, "I cannot completely break the curse, but I can alter it. She will indeed sleep, but one day she will awaken through the power of true love." Time passed, and the princess grew. Everyone tried to protect her, but destiny seemed to be pushing her towards an invisible mystery. One day, in the palace's old library, the princess found a dusty book that contained a hidden prophecy. The curse will be broken if a courageous voyager discovers the secret of the golden spindle hidden under the moonlight. The princess was bewildered. She wondered where the golden spindle lay. On her 16th birthday, in the palace's secret chamber, Abida stumbled upon an old spinning wheel. Mysterious light surrounded it. Driven by curiosity, she reached out and pricked her finger. She fell asleep at once. But here came the twist. As Abida fell asleep, not just thorns but a mysterious, magical forest sprung up around the kingdom. It was filled with ghostly shadows, mischievous fairies, and terrifying monsters. The entire kingdom came to a halt. Even time seemed frozen at that moment. 100 years later, a brave woman from a distant land heard the tale of the cursed kingdom. She embarked on a journey to the palace. First, she had to pass through the strange, shadowy jungle, where every tree spoke and posed riddles. If you do not answer the riddles, you will remain trapped in the forest forever. Using her wits, she solved the riddles, and the jungle let her go with laughter. Then came the magical lake. Its waters splashed laughter and foam. In the middle of the lake stood a silver boat, but to board it, she had to sing a magical song. Once the song ended, the lake became calm. Finally, at the palace doors, she faced Pichichini, who turned into a fearsome fire dragon. Flames shot everywhere, and the ground quaked. But the brave woman raised her wand and declared, "Power of light, power of love, conquer the evil." The dragon was reduced to ashes in an instant. In the palace chamber lay the sleeping Princess Arpita. Silence enveloped. The brave woman gently touched her forehead, and Arpita awoke. Once upon a time, in a distant land, lived a wicked sorceress who was exceptionally powerful and cunning. Her garden was surrounded by a magical fence, where peculiar plants and flowers grew. One day, a poor couple secretly entered the garden to steal vegetables. The sorceress caught them and roared in anger, "You must pay for stealing from my garden. However, I shall spare your lives, but you must give me your firstborn child." Terrified, the helpless couple agreed. In a short while, they had a baby girl. The sorceress came and took the child, naming her Rapunzel. The child had golden hair so long that it touched the ground as she grew. The sorceress imprisoned her in a tall tower deep in the forest. The tower had no door, only a window. When the sorceress visited, she would call from below, "Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your long hair." Rapunzel would lower her golden hair from the window, and the sorceress would climb up. One day, Prince Idrish, wandering in the forest during a hunt, heard a sweet song. Following the melody, he reached the tower. From the window above, a young lady was singing. The prince was captivated. At that moment, the sorceress arrived and called, "Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your long hair." The prince realized this was how to climb up. The next day he called, "Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your long hair." Climbing up her hair, the prince met Rapunzel. Initially frightened, Rapunzel soon accepted his friendship due to his sincerity and gentle nature. The prince visited every day. They spoke and sang together. Once upon a time, in a quaint village named Nandampur, lived a restless boy named Ridoe. He was always in a hurry, rushing to school, eager to win games, desperate to grow up quickly, as if every moment of life was a waste of time for him. Ridoe's mother often said, "Son, life is like a story. Enjoy each chapter instead of rushing to know the end, because the joy is in the journey." But Ridoe laughed it off. "I just want to know how the story ends. Mom, when will I grow up, become rich, and be famous?" That very night, as Ridoe was about to sleep, a soft glow entered his room through the window. From it emerged an elderly fairy with shimmering silver hair. She said, "Ridoe, I know your restless heart. Take this, an enchanted thread. Pull it, and time will leap forward. The more you pull, the further into the future you will go." Ridoe was astonished. His eyes sparkled with excitement. "So, I can skip tests, rainy days, and all those tiresome days." The fairy added, "Yes, but remember, once a moment is gone, you cannot get it back." Ridoe nodded, but the caution was quickly forgotten. The next day at school, growing impatient, he tugged the magic thread slightly. Instantly, the class was over. Filled with glee, he thought, "This is incredible." One by one, he pulled through test days, rain-soaked school days, even his mother's scoldings. But he barely noticed how days turned into months, and months into years. His school life ended, college finished, he even got a job, yet his heart always felt hollow. His friends were distant, and his mother's hair had turned silver. One night, he saw wrinkles on his face in the mirror and shuddered. "When did I grow so old? I haven't truly lived." Suddenly, that familiar silver glow appeared at the window. The fairy had returned. Tears streaming down his face, Ridoe pleaded, "Fairy, I want my time back. I want to feel the rain, laugh in class, and sleep in my mother's arms again." With a wave of her hand, she returned him to his small room, on the very night he first received the enchanted thread.